This frame was from the Larder Classic in 1982 against John Spencer, when I made the first televised 147 break. It was ironic that John was my opponent that day, since he had made the first competitive maximum break in a televised tournament, but unfortunately the camera crews were on their tea break at the time. Not a good break from John there, and it gives me the chance to put the first red away. This first red was by no means a certainty. That black gave me a few easy reds to get my arm going. Although you wouldn't have guessed it, I wasn't feeling particularly good that day, having just returned from a round-the-world trip, and I was still suffering from jet lag. Here, I had the chance to pot the loose red and slightly open up the pack, whilst retaining position on the black. I slightly overhit that black and lost position, and that gave me a problem. There's no straightforward pot on here. I decided on the double, which was a risk, but it shouldn't have left John much if it had failed. That shot split up the last few reds. Now there are no reds touching each other, or on a cushion. The only difficult red is the one possibly touching the pink. You may well have noticed that I looked a lot younger then, and I had much more hair. Never mind. In this tournament, the prize for achieving a 147 break was a Larder car, and amongst the players we used to joke that the prize for missing the final black was 2 Larder cars. This shot was slightly tricky. There was no guarantee of exactly where the cue ball would end up. I had to trust to luck. and that shot successfully separated the red and the pink. You don't see the half butts being used that often these days. Most players have cue extensions of their own, so they're using the same tip for every shot. Fortunately, with this red I didn't have to do too much to get position on the black. I made my first century break when I was about 18, and after that went on to make several maximum breaks in practice, but this would be the first one in front of the public. The next few shots would be relatively straightforward. The one problem ball at the moment for me is the red by the blue. That would be the hardest to get on from the black, and also the hardest to get back to the black with. Interesting to see the old style, more generous undercut of the pockets there. I wish we played on tables like that these days, they were much easier. Positional play now becomes much more important with so few reds to choose from. That was the century break. Great red there, but I had a problem with the black. I had to get back on that last red, and I decided to opt for an easier pot and have a more difficult next shot. Crunch time. Well, it's supposed to be straightforward from now on in. The one thing you're supposed to be able to practice is clearing the colours from their spots. Trouble is now I'm expecting to make the 147, and all of a sudden my legs started to shake. Not everything went well that week, actually. I went on to lose to Terry Griffiths 9-8 in the final. Not a very good shot there. I got a bit of a kick on that shot with the white ball jumping up in the air after contact with the brown, and I left myself a lot to do with the blue. The cue ball couldn't have ended up in a worse place. Dead straight on the pink, no angle to pot, and also a difficult shot to keep position on the black ball. I had to play this with a lot of backspin, and with the rest it was difficult. Under normal circumstances, this black would have been a certainty, but I can tell it's one of the toughest shots I've ever played in my life. The first ever maximum break on television. A very, very special moment for me indeed.